To win big in poker, you need skill, luck, and it helps if you somehow know the cards in every other player's hands. I'm a terrible poker player, but I teamed up with this casino cheating expert and this hacker who uncovered a high-tech way to digitally rig this common card shuffling machine used in casinos across the US. Together, we designed a scheme to hack a card shuffling machine.
Let's make some money.
I'm in.
And win big in Vegas.
It's a crazy little hand.
I'm Andy Greenberg. I investigate the strange, dark, and subversive sides of technology for Wired. This is Hacklab. I cheated at poker by hacking a casino card shuffling machine. This experiment takes me to Las Vegas, Nevada for DEF CON, America's biggest hacker conference. I'm meeting Joseph Tartaro, a researcher and consultant with the security firm IO Active. Joseph.
Hey, Andy. How's it going?
2 years ago, I wrote a story for Wired about Joseph's technique for hacking card shufflers to take full control over a poker game for perfect, undetectable cheating in a casino environment. And in a moment, I'll put his technique to the test by trying to cheat these unsuspecting poker players in a real game of Texas Hold'em. But first, I want to understand how the shuffler works.
This is the Deckmate 2 card shuffler that you hacked 2 years ago.
This is the most popular card shuffler. You're going to see it in every major poker room. It's even used in the World Series of Poker. It actually sits flush. This is what's next to your knees under the table.
How does the Deckmate 2 work internally? Like, is it actually the same way that I would like take a deck and riffle, shuffle it like this? Is it doing that mechanically inside?
No, actually it has 20, 23, or 26 different shelves, and it will generate a random number. So we'll say, okay, this first card I'm going to process, I'm going to put that in position 3. Next one, I'm going to put that in position 12. And it will eventually just produce a deck. It's really used to make sure that the casino just gets more hands an hour. Technically, the shuffler has the capability to completely sort a deck in order, ace to king, every suit. Let me show you. So the door opened here. And now we wait.
And the dealer just pulls the deck out of this little container at the top.
Correct. Here's your deck.
Yeah, here we go. Perfectly consecutive now. So obviously, like, if the shuffler can order the whole deck as a kind of feature that it shows you by default, then that means that if you can hack it, you can reorder the deck and fully control the placement of every card, right?
Yeah, 100%. I actually have a fun hand that I could show you from James Bond's Casino Royale. Have you seen the movie Casino Royale?
I have.
In this scenario, Joseph was able to hack the deckmate's code so that it would reorder the deck, so that the dealer would deal out exactly the hands from the poker game in that movie scene.
I will be James Bond in this scenario.
So here we go.
The villain in the movie draws a full house, just like Joseph.
Ace is full of sixes.
But Bond has a straight flush.
Correct.
And Joseph had hacked the shuffler to give me that same winning hand.
You did this with code alone.
Yes.
In Texas Hold'em, like any kind of poker, the winner is determined by who has the best hand. 3 of a kind beats 2 pair, or a straight flush beats a straight. If a player can control the deck order, they can make sure that they get the best hand every time. But there's one big challenge to that approach to cheating.
So wouldn't cutting the deck ruin this whole like perfect reordering you've done?
Yeah, exactly. No, you spotted it. I did not cut the deck here.
So what if the deck is cut? What do you do then?
I actually have an interesting scenario for you. I have a mathematically solved deck. So if we have 4 players at the table, no matter what, the person sitting at the dealer button will always win.
Cool. Okay, let's see that.
Go ahead and give you the dealer button. So the way this works is a computer program was written to try to solve an order of a deck that no matter where a dealer would cut it, that position would always win.
It's a bit counterintuitive, but mathematicians have determined a way to order a deck so that a specific person at the table will have the winning hand every time, even if the deck is cut, so long as you know where at the table they're going to be sitting.
It's surprising that's possible.
So I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck, and we can deal.
That solved deck trick meant Joseph had actually reprogrammed the shuffler to order all the cards such that no matter where the deck is cut, I would have the best hand. In this case, 2 pair.
Queens and 9, so your 2 pair beats mine.
So this does solve the problem of cutting the deck. But it does seem like if you kept doing that, then players would get suspicious. Like, why does this guy keep winning? Why does he keep having the best hands?
Yeah, 100%. They would start asking questions. There's a much better way we can cheat. The way the sorting works is there's actually a camera inside the shuffler, and it will read the cards. And it's kind of funny because it's put in there for security purposes, so that if somebody were to remove an ace of spades and add another 7 of diamonds, it would alert the dealer. But in this case, we're actually going to take advantage that there's a camera in there to cheat.
So this would be our cheating strategy. Take advantage of the incredible fact that there's a camera inside the shuffler. Hack the machine to get access to that camera, learn the exact deck order, and send it via Bluetooth to a phone app. After all, the stealthiest way to win in poker is not to have the best hand. It's simply to know whether or not you have the best hand, so you can bet or fold accordingly.
What was it that led you to want to hack the Deckmate 2 in the first place?
It really actually started with a really suspicious hand in televised poker that just had a lot of people talking about it.
In September of 2022, a scandal blew up the world of high-stakes live-streamed poker. In a hand at Los Angeles' Hustler Casino Live, a relative novice holding nothing but a jack of clubs and a four of hearts successfully called the bluff of a veteran player. No player could possibly have thought that her weak hand would be good enough to call a bluff, thousands of outraged poker players argued, unless the person holding it had some extra knowledge that her opponent's hand was even worse. In other words, she must have been cheating, which she denied. The casino responded with an investigation which concluded that there had been no evidence of foul play, but one little detail in the report about the card shuffler stuck out to Joseph.
It specifically said it could not be compromised, and in my world, when people start saying things are unhackable or very difficult to do, well, to us, that's a bait to prove them wrong.
Joseph and a couple of colleagues spent months reverse engineering the shuffler. They bought their own Deckmate 2 for testing from a secondhand seller, and the researchers' hacking technique took advantage of how Deckmate shufflers are designed to prevent their code from being altered. The machine's firmware is designed to take a hash of its code on startup, a mathematical function that converts the code into a unique string of characters, and then checks whether that string is different from the known hash value of the unaltered code. But Joseph and his collaborators found that they could simply change that hash value too, so that the hash of the altered code matches and no change is detected. Even then though, a poker cheating hacker would still need a way to get access to a shuffler's internals to install their code. Joseph found one, the USB port. It turns out that the Deckmate 2 has a USB port that often sits exposed under the table.
So as long as we're able to reach under and plug this little device into the USB port, we're golden.
So how does this work?
So essentially this is just a miniature computer, and what it will do is we'll plug it into the machine and it will compromise it, rewrite the code, and start communicating with a cell phone. So the way we do that is right here on the back of the shuffler is a USB port. So we could either walk up to a live game and plug the device in, or if we had access to the device before any players showed up, we could even hide it inside internally. All we have to do is reach down and plug this thing in. The shuffler is going to actually be flush with the table, and the ports are going to be down by your knee. In a poker room, there's so much going on, people changing seats, so it's really common to drop some chips or something, reach down, and just plug something in. I chose to use this device, but we could even use a malicious Android phone and just plug a phone in and say we're charging it.
So you can charge your phone
In that port, in the middle of a game.
Yeah, people in poker tournaments will regularly plug their phones into casino equipment.
So then how does it help you cheat?
This device has a Bluetooth module, and it will wirelessly connect to this phone. And every time a deck gets shuffled, it will get the exact order from the camera and send it to me.
So then you know the order after the deck has been shuffled, but doesn't it get cut again?
Actually, the app solves that problem. Once we receive our hand, we can look at it, enter the details we need, and we'll know the order.
In other words, Joseph's app has a way around the problem of a dealer cutting the deck. The cheater or their partner can enter into the app the two cards in their hands. With just the knowledge of those cards, the app can determine where in the deck the dealer has cut to. That's enough for the app to tell the cheater every hand that the players will end up with after all the cards are dealt. A player messing with their phone in the middle of a game is often against casino rules, so we decided to try a scheme where Joseph looks at his two cards and then folds. Once he's out of the game, he's allowed to pick up his phone, and then he can use the app to see who will win and signal to me how to bet.
The moment it comes out and I see my two cards, we'll know every single person's hand.
When Joseph and his team presented this vulnerability 2 years ago, I reached out to the manufacturer, a firm called Shufflemaster. A spokesperson for Shufflemaster's parent company, Light & Wonder, told me at the time that Joseph's hacking technique was unrealistic in an actual casino setting. The company didn't even mention whether it planned to fix the shuffler's security vulnerabilities. As we prepared to test out how a hacked shuffler can in fact let a player cheat in a real game of poker, as you'll see in a moment,
It's a crazy little hand.
I reached out to the company again to see if they had fixed their security flaws in the 2 years since they were revealed. This time, a spokesperson for Light & Wonder responded and said they've now patched those security flaws in virtually every shuffler in use in casinos today by updating their firmware. But Joseph was still skeptical. After all, the machines have no mechanism to receive software updates over the internet.
They would need a technician to go and apply a firmware update, Now, maybe that happened. They could also just be implying that they disabled the USB port, but in reality, we could use the Ethernet port. There's a number of ways to pull this off. And even if they do that, that does not fix the issue of a maintenance person pulling this off. Because once you have access to the internals, it's kind of game over.
To get another opinion about this, I spoke to Doug Polk, a YouTuber and card house owner in Austin, Texas.
So these shuffle machines, I've seen them all over the place, frankly. I've seen them from the largest, most legitimate established casinos all the way down to people's home games.
So Doug, how do you feel about the Deckmate 2 card shuffler? Like, do you trust this thing?
The Deckmate 2 in a casino location, you shouldn't be too scared of. They have all these casino contracts, so they have licensed people fixing problems that there might be. The problem is once someone has a Deckmate 2 on a black market or a secondary market, they are now no longer being upkept by the company itself. Some guy is just basically in the back fixing the machine and then putting it on the table. I have heard so many cheating stories of people using these to cheat players out of their money when it's not happening at a casino location. In fact, I've even heard of stories where at major casinos, there were issues at play with the Deckmate 2. If there's a camera that knows the cards, there is always some kind of underlying threat. Customers are going to be essentially at the mercy of the person setting up the machine.
What if you like show up to somebody's private game, or you're in an unlicensed card house of some kind, and you see that there's a Deckmate 2 being used? What do you do?
If you're showing up at a private game and there's a shuffler, I would say you should run for the hills.
We weren't given permission by any casino to replicate the test on their property, so we're going off the strip to set up a private game in a casino-like environment, a dealer training school in Las Vegas, where I'm going to play against real players who don't know that the odds are stacked against them. But before we try this experiment, I need a game plan on how to cheat like a pro. So I went to see Sal Piacente, a security consultant who advises casinos on cheating.
So how are people cheating in casinos in the real world?
Depends on the game. You know, in dice, you're switching dice, you're sliding dice. In Baccarat, you're doing false shuffles where the dealers are mixed the cards. There are so many ways of cheating at poker.
How do you deal with the fact that the deck's going to get cut?
Well, there's a way of beating the cut. They call it a pass. So a pass looks like this. I just set the deck up. There's my jack of spades on top. So now you would cut the deck. When you cut, that jack of spades now goes right into the middle. So now when I get ready to deal,
I don't know, how did you do that?
it's a pass. I actually recut the cards. I'll do it face up so you can see it. When you cut the cards, I complete the cut, but I leave it sticking out just a little bit in the back. When I square the deck up, I get a break above it, and then real quick, I just transpose those two halves.
Oh my God, that was so slick. I really didn't catch that the first time at all.
I see a lot of surveillance footage. In poker, you're switching cards with another player. You're marking cards. You have the dealer doing false shuffles. What is a false shuffle? I'll just give you a quick example of one card, the jack of spades. I want to keep that card on top. If you shuffle this way in the hands, this is an old style of shuffle, where they would shuffle them just like this. In this deck, it looks like it's getting mixed. And I'm only controlling one card here.
And that card never moved.
No, well, it did move, but I'm keeping track of it. It goes to the bottom, back to the top.
All these devious ways that dealers can cheat is one reason casinos have started to use shuffling machines in the first place. Automating the shuffle takes the dealer's motivations out of the equation.
Have you heard about people rigging Deckmate 2 shufflers to cheat?
Well, it's happening a lot in private games. I've never heard of it being done in a casino.
And what about card houses like in, Texas or other states where you might have these gambling establishments that are not regulated in the same way they are here in Vegas?
Anything goes. Then anything goes.
Have you talked to people who have done it?
Correct. So these cheaters were able to get the machines and gaff them before they hit the table. I personally have never heard of it being done in a casino. However, if there's money involved, believe me, someone's staying up late at night to figure out how to steal that money.
So there seemed to be a lot of ways to compromise a card shuffler before a game, but that was only half of our scheme. Now I needed a way to communicate with Joseph secretly during the game, a system of signaling with my cheating partner.
The number one scam that happens in poker rooms every day throughout the world undetected is signaling.
How do you send these covert signals?
There's a couple of ways of doing it. For example, a common gadget in the old days would be this. This is called a thumper. And what happens is you would wear this on your body and this would go up to your thigh.
I'd have this like down my pant leg or something.
Correct.
Right.
And then this would be in my shoe and this would be on my big toe. And when I want to give you a signal, I just press down and that'll vibrate in your hand.
Yeah.
In the movie Casino, there's a really clear example of a cheating team using a thumper and getting caught. I needed a more subtle approach.
So what are some other innovative ways that you've seen people cheat?
Another innovative way where people communicate is a device that looks like this. This is a loop that goes around your neck. All this wiring is underneath your clothing. This goes through a hole in your pants and plugs into your iPhone. And then, I don't know if you can see that,
Wow,
that's
that
the
is
earpiece.
tiny. This little thing goes in your ear. This
Yeah.
is an earpiece.
I would take it like this, and before you go onto the casino floor, you just take it, and now it's right next to my eardrum. And now when my partner is talking to me, I can hear her like a third voice in my head.
That's crazy. Sal, I feel like I was told in kindergarten not to do this kind of thing. So how do you actually get it out then?
There's only one way to get that out, with a magnet.
Wow.
And you can see, there it is.
But I wasn't sure if this voice in my ear approach would work in our cheating scenario. I needed a partner at the table who could see the cards in their hand, enter a couple of them into an app, and then silently tell me what to do. So I laid out our whole scheme to Sal.
Okay, so we're actually gonna do this. We are going to set up a game with unsuspecting players. We're gonna hack the Deckmate 2 shuffler, and we'd love your advice about how to do this so we don't get caught.
Oh, I'm definitely interested in being involved in this.
I'd love to introduce you then to Joseph Tartaro, who is our hacker here.
Hi, Sal. Nice to meet
Pleasure.
you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for having me.
We'd appreciate your advice about how to actually pull this off.
Is the machine telling you who's going to win?
It's going to tell every hand in rank of which seat's going to win.
So Joseph is gonna have on his phone an app that he created. The hacked shuffler is gonna transmit the full exact deck order to his phone.
I need to be able to communicate to him if he has the top hand to stay in or just folds right now.
I'm an absolutely terrible poker player. I'm gonna depend entirely on Joseph to tell me what to do. He's my cheating partner. The question is, how should he signal?
Chips? How many chips in your hand?
Could the signal be raise, fold, call?
Yeah. If you just play with one chip, that's telling him to fold. 2 chips, that means call. You play with all your chips, that means raise.
So this would be our signaling system. Joseph picks up 1 chip, I fold. 2, I call. 3, I raise.
You're an experienced poker player. I'm not. I would like to be told like exactly what to do, like an idiot poker robot. 3 chips, 3 commands, and I will just follow it like a computer that you're programming. You think that'll work?
Why not? Let's give it a try. Let's make some money.
I'm in.
And now it's time to test if Joseph's exploit can be pulled off in an actual high-stakes game of Texas Hold'em. And Sal will be watching us on monitors in another room. As we settle into our places at the table, I mentally run through everything to make sure we're straight. Joseph's USB hacking device is in place. He has the app running on his phone. When everything was ready, we brought in our unsuspecting poker players, a couple of friendly Las Vegas locals named Elle and Fernando. They're unaware of the experiment, that Joseph and I know each other, or that anyone will be cheating. The dealer pulls a freshly shuffled deck from the Deckmate 2 and cuts it. It's time to play.
My strategy at the moment will be to look at my 2 cards, fold, and then I can pull out my phone, enter the details I need, and then I can start signaling to Andy and make sure that he wins as much money as we can.
It's up to you.
And I'm
Fold? Okay.
Early on, I could see our hacked shuffler cheating system was working. Joseph folded, picked up his phone, and started playing with 3 chips in his hand. He was signaling to me to bet.
So it's up to you. Check, Andy.
I think I will actually bet.
6 to stand.
6 to stay in.
Yeah, okay. Turn ace.
Check.
I'll bet.
6. Action to you.
Okay, check.
Check. 6.
I don't like it. I followed. It's all yours, buddy.
And sure enough, I won the hand with a straight.
Money is not real. I'm still sweating though. I don't know why.
Even though I was cheating, or maybe because I was cheating, I found I was incredibly nervous. On other hands, Joseph and I flubbed our communications. At one point, I misread his signal and folded when I had a winning hand, and he looked at me like I was an idiot.
I'll fold. I'll fold. I'll fold. I'm out.
More than an hour into our 3-hour game, I kept drawing nothing but bad hands.
All right, I'll fold. Joseph's loosening up.
It was clear to me that even though I had a hacker on my side, luck was not. After all, we'd hacked the shuffler to let me know when I had a good hand, not to actually deal me one. Fernando, on the other hand, seemed to be on a hot streak. Just from paying antes and folding on all my losing hands, my pile of chips was dwindling, and his was growing. To make matters worse, Joseph forgot at one point that he was supposed to signal to me with his left hand, and I couldn't see how many chips he was holding in his right hand. I had to not so subtly remind him.
Joseph, are you left-handed?
No.
Okay.
Were the other players onto us? Would Sal, who was on the security cam, spot what we were doing? Most worrying of all, it started to seem like I might cheat and still lose. After more than an hour of watching my stack of chips shrink, I finally got the hidden signal from Joseph to raise. I could see this might be my last chance, and Fernando, feeling confident, seemed ready to match my bets. I went all in.
10-8, what do you have?
Ace high.
Not very pretty hints, but it'll work.
Getting spicy over here. You see the ace and you're just like, nah, I'm not folding this thing.
Just feeling
Ace.
lucky.
Nice hand.
A few minutes later, thanks to Joseph's signal, I called a big bet from Elle.
That's 40,000.
Even if I didn't go.
I think that's the rest. She's all in.
You're kind of all in on the next
Yeah.
hand anyway. What do you guys got? Pair of fours, take it. You weren't scared of the jack, huh?
No.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Good
Elle.
luck.
Thanks for all the money.
Not long after that, I got the signal from Joseph to bet big again.
I'll do 40.
40,000.
Spicy game.
I'll call that.
You can do whatever I want, right? So I'll
Yeah,
make
pretty
it
much.
100.
100,000's the bet.
Yikes. Here we go.
A moment of truth.
It's a crazy little hand.
I'm gonna do another 100,000.
Another 100,000,
You guys are aggressive.
right?
All right.
They don't.
You're calling too?
Yeah, I'm calling.
He's calling.
What do you guys have?
When the cards came out, Fernando had a pair of aces, but I had surprised him with a straight on the river, a pretty shocking hand that nearly cleaned Fernando out.
You guys so lucky. Were you bluffing the whole time?
Yeah, he got lucky at the end.
I'm sorry, that's kind of ridiculous. I owe you an apology, but I'll take it.
It's the semi-bluff, you know? You bluff until you make it.
Before long,
Go all in.
All in.
it was all over.
Two pair.
And that's that.
Yep.
It was time to bring Elle back in and come clean.
Welcome back.
I have to confess, both of you are far better poker players than I am, and I was cheating this whole game. I guess the question is, can you tell how I was cheating?
I did not tell anything was up.
Maybe you looked at your phone a couple times. I don't know.
Actually, it was Joseph who was looking at his phone. It was the shuffler. The shuffler was hacked. It transmitted via Bluetooth the exact order of the deck to Joseph's phone.
Wow.
He was then signaling to me whether I should bet or fold, because honestly, I'm a terrible poker player. I have no idea what I'm doing.
After our players left, we brought in Sal to get his thoughts.
That was fantastic. Gentlemen, that was great. It worked beautifully. You're a dangerous individual, my friend. I wouldn't want to be against you.
Sal, you have seen thousands of hours of actual surveillance footage, including of people cheating. Watching this as you were this whole time, how do you think this rates? Like, what did you think of this as a scam?
I thought it was right on top. I mean, there's nothing to see.
We were playing it very aggressively. If we had had more time and just like played more conservatively with a smaller edge, I think it could have been even stealthier, right?
Totally. There's no doubt this would have went on undetected.
The real story here isn't just about cheating at poker, it's about trust. As we add more digital smart components to everything from our household products to cars to medical devices, all of it becomes more vulnerable to surveillance and manipulation. If a smart card shuffler can let a hacker rig a game of poker, it's worth asking what other digital devices in our lives might be at risk? Who else can manipulate the machines around us to get an unfair advantage? And it's worth remembering that sometimes the old analog approach can even the odds.